Alrighty. Hopefully everybody has packet number 7. We are working with the traditions of Christmas. The designer series paper today happens to be the 15th. So the date for this paper to come back is the 17th. It might come back earlier, but don't quote me on that. But we're using that part of the we've actually used everything out of we have used the Christmas greenery dies and the Christmas greenery stamp set. We've used the traditional wreath, and then we also had the traditional label bundle. Now these are in the in the holidays spring words are hard, in the holiday mini, and these are the traditional sparkling sequins, but we didn't use that in this particular card because I didn't have enough, and I just wanted to make sure that everybody had the same stuff. All right, so we are using the Just For You. So if you have something like this, it goes on. Just kind of want to show you so that you know the size. It's going to fit right here. So if you have a greeting for the front of your card that fits in there, that's perfect. So mine is going to be Just For You, and it's going to be a vertical. And then Merry Christmas is going to go on the inside of the card. And then I also have a piece of greenery and the berries for the holly berries. So if you actually have this stamp set, you could pull those out and on those blocks. Now you are going to need a little bit of sandpaper, and then you are going to need the Real Red Pool Party, Old Olive, and Cherry Cobbler ink pads. So if you have those, or if you have something similar, that would be awesome. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take this is Mossy Meadow two-tone cardstock. And so we're going to take, and I embossed this on the dark side. Now this is the light side. So the two-tone cardstock, what Stampin' Up! Did is the one side is the Stampin' Up! Color, and then the other side is just a shade lighter. So then that way you can do several different types of techniques with the two-tone cardstock, because the white core is on this cardstock. So that is what that looks like once you get done sanding it. And I'm just wiping it on my pants right now, so then that way it gets rid of that dust. And I don't need it on any part of my card, so we'll put that off to the side. And then you have different die cut flowers out from that designer series paper. Then we're going to do a little bit of gluing. And so what I did is I die cut. These are two different dies. Okay, so they basically are the mirror image of each other, pretty much. Okay, so when you die cut your pieces, they're about the same, same shape, but just opposite. So then what I did is I went back in and did the designer series paper. Okay, so we're going to have to figure out which one is which side, and I did the same thing, but I just cut it in half. And so we're going to decorate one side, so that is not it. So I'm going to use the putty part on my Take Your Pick tool to help me. Nope, that doesn't work. There we go. That works perfectly like that. So it fits right there. So what I did is I cut this in Designer Series paper and then cut it in half so that one side is going to be plaid and the other side is going to be the old olive. How fun is that? Okay, so now that I have those two, I'm actually going to put them down here so I know which ones they go on. And I'm going to do that same thing without hopefully, screwing up. And we'll put a little bit of glue on there and not a whole lot. Okay, grab that. And then you just let this dry overnight, you can let it dry and then it just rubs right off. And it's such a cool way to not have that glue spear out of the sides. And so it's kind of like Dado, if you ever have worked with that. And that is something I think Stampin' Up! Had like a long time ago. All right, so those two are ready to go. All right, so then now we'll put that off to the side. And again, just let this dry and then just rub it off. And same thing with the other one, the other side. Okay, so this is going to be a vertical card. And we're going to attach, I'm going to try to not glue the Glass Mat Studio. If you don't have a Glass Mat Studio, I would suggest getting one. They are the coolest thing to stamp on, especially if you have kind of like a surface that's not completely steady. Okay, so I just left a little tiny bit over here of white and then kind of tried to make it so that it was pretty even. And then we're going to open up the inside and we're going to grab that Pool Party. And I'm going to grab my Stampin' Pearson mat again. And I have another brush. Where did I put that brush? I took it out. All right. Then, here we go. All right, so we're going to grab Pool Party, okay, and we'll just swirl it to get that main blotchiness off, and we're just going to swirl right here. Not necessarily straight in the center, but a little bit more over to the side there, because we're going to take that Designer Series paper and we're going to put that right here, and it's not going to go exactly at the top, but we just want to make sure that where we're adding the color, then it looks like it is in the center once that Designer Series paper is actually attached. Okay, all right, and you can go as dark as you want or as light as you want. But it just gives it a little bit of fun and texture. Okay, so we're going to close that up. And then now I'm going to do something that I told you not to do before. And we're going to grab that Wink of Stella. And we're going to go to the other side of the... Now we're going to squeeze out some... Okay, mine is, it's at its end. So I'm just going to quickly grab another one. Okay, what I want is a puddle, okay? Just a little puddle. And so we're going to just squeeze on the craft mat. All right, so we're just going to swirl that around, okay? And then we're going to take a bone folder and we're just going to kind of flick it. Okay. Just at the top. And you can see it's actually all over the card. So we might as well get to the other side too. This is how you decorate the inside of your card and making it very pretty. All right, so that will work. And by having it on the silicone craft mat, you actually can just rinse it off in the sink. So, I mean, that's really cool. Just make sure you don't set anything else in there. All right, so we're done with that. Okay, so I wanted to get that drying before we do any more else. So now we're going to take this piece and we're going to grab the cherry cobbler. Now, your flowers might be a different color and your bow might be a different color. So that's the reason why I used cherry cobbler also rather than just real red, is so that I can introduce the colors used in the designer series paper for whatever the flowers are. And so it complements it. So you have that strip that's in there. There's a little bit of a darker shade of red and a little bit lighter shade of red. So we're just getting all those colors together. Okay, so then now we're just going to close that up. And now we're going to stamp on the inside. I think it might be done. We can try. All right, so then open up your, let's see, first of all, decide if you want Mary to be in real red. I'm having the real red and Old Olive. So my Mary is going to be Old Olive and my real red is going to be Christmas. So I'm going to actually do my Christmas first. However, I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on my designer series paper. And the reason why is because this is going to give me my center point as to where to put my greeting. Okay, so if I didn't have that paper there and I would stamp and then I added the paper, then it would look off center. So, whoops, boy, that's one thing about the glass mat. It's noisy if you drop something on it. Okay, so there's Christmas. Just allow that ink to transfer. And then we're going to just move that. We're still going to use it. And then the Old Olive, we're going to do Mary. Now, if you didn't have Old Olive, but you have, say, Mossy Meadow, that would work as well. That is going to go right on top. Now, I'm going to line up my M right next to the H. And then straddle that T, and so that looks like it is perfectly placed. Okay, so then now we're done with that. Now we're going to use the greenery, and I am actually going to put that over here. So I'm going to stamp full strength, and then lighter, and then lightest. So we got 3 different greenery pieces in different shades. And then we're going to do the real red in that. Okay, so then now we are done stamping on the inside of our card. And now let's put together. We're going to take this piece and add it to the base of the cherry cobbler. And that is going to go just like that. And then I'm going to use dimensionals. And you can use how many you want. All right, then stab and grab those backings. And I forgot, we need to attach this first. And that's going to just go straight on with our adhesive, whatever choice. You want to do glue, you want to do stamp and seal. And that's going to go kind of like in the center of that wreath, okay? And mine is a little, now beware of the edging on this. I just want to lift that up just a tad bit. And mine's a little, just a tad bit crooked. And just bring that right on over. And then this is where your flowers are going to be. And you don't want them to cover up the words or go over your cards. So that is like perfect placement right there. Then we're going to take the one of these holly pieces, and I do not have any glue wet, so we're going to get some more glue in our glue spot. And so we're going to just decide which one you want to have. I want mine to kind of look like this, so you could see. Actually, I'm going to do it like this. So this one is going to be on my bottom, and this one's going to be on the top. So then it's not the same. So then you can see the designer series paper on both parts. Okay, so then we're just going to tap, tap, tap some of that glue on here, and that is going to go right here. All right. And that's going to kind of slide right underneath that piece of basic white. And then this is going to go on dimensionals. Now I just did mini dimensionals. And one right there. And one right there. And a little bit of adhesive glue right there. We'll grab some of that and put that right at the top, because this is going to hit that piece, but I want my holly to stand up a little bit. So we're going to push down, okay? So this part is it's lower, and then this part is higher. So it kind of gives it a little different look. I don't want it to be standing up on both ends. So then now we're going to take the Wink of Stella, and we're going to hit the flowers. And you don't have to do the foil part if you don't want to, but you can just swirl all around, because I add Wink of Stella to everything. Then we're going to do the designer series paper on the holly. And then lay that down over here and get that piece. Now, how fun is that? Okay, so then now we're going to put the lid back on that. And we're going to grab Oh, I did. I'm sorry. I did give you just for my example, I had the rhinestones because I wanted to make sure that everybody had enough of the color. So we're going to put the red right there, and then we're going to put the blue right here, and then the green one, which looks like garden green or granny apple green to me. All right, so there we have our cart now. I mean, isn't that pretty on the inside? I just love it. Okay, then I forgot. We need to take a little bit of that Wink of Stella and get our greenery on the inside. I mean, even with all the speckles, I just wanted to make sure that it got colorized. Okay, so hope you enjoyed that. Get out your last packet, number 8. Hope you enjoyed that stamping.